All right, let's see where we are today. Looks like futures are out. Nasdaq was down some yesterday. Microsoft went down. Microsoft really moves the market. Good for us. The Apple also moves the market, and Apple's up today because of spectacular earnings. Microsoft had spectacular earnings also yesterday, but it went down. That happens sometimes. Buy the rumor, sell the fact. It looks like Nasdaq futures are up 134. Let's look at TQQQ because that's what we're being playing. It went down under 109. We need it to be at 109 to get the full amount of money. Now, these guys that were expiring tomorrow, Friday, for 4:30. They were pretty juicy yesterday. They were at 241. So essentially, you were getting $2 for 2 days to buy TQQQ. And people that are playing this, and you're willing to buy it at, if you were willing to buy at 109, then why not get it at 107 and just sell the put against it? And if it gets put to you, you're happy because you got it $2 lower than it sold the day before. So these are the kind of things you need to look at when you're playing this. Those times that you get 1.5% because you're selling the put instead of just buying the common, those are golden. So you need to get in there and get that. Where are we sitting? We've got 10 contracts in cash, 62 contracts in the IRA. Yesterday, my Fidelity count was still showing that it was at 241 because it went down to 108.63. Obviously, unless the market tanks today or tomorrow, when it looks like it's going up here, it looks like it's going to be over 111. I imagine that we might hit the 52-week high today. It's at 111.99, so 112. We might hit 112 today. We'll see. If not, we might hit it Friday. So we need this guy to be over at 109. Now, the 10 shares I had rolled from last week to this week and got 285 for it. So that's where we are with the 10 contracts for expiring this week. Now, the 62 contracts, I had sold the puts 2 weeks ago for 520. So in a 2-week period, I got 520, and I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, sometimes doing a 2-week period, you get a little bit more premium. Also, too, if you think you got a little bit more time on your hands, I guess it depends on how you want to play it. You got a little bit more to recover if you got a couple of bad days in there, to start the start off of. Now, if you play the weeklies and you compound a little bit faster, then that's what I like to do is, get the compounding. So that's why I like to play them weekly. But, if you look out a little bit further, then, you're really looking at some pretty good data. So let's look out close to the money. So if we look at 110, and of course these will be a little bit different. A little bit different than what they are. Let's look at the 110s, which is basically at the money. This thing's gonna be at 111 today. Let's look at the 110s. The 110s are still paying 293. 293 today because it closed at 108 or whatever, and that's for this Friday. So that's for tomorrow. But you're gonna get 450 next week, and you're going to get 570 for another week out, and then 660. So you can kind of look at how this goes along. So now, if you're looking at the 110, if you want to go out to June, you're looking at $10. So $10, if you do the calculation, so you do 10 divided by 130, then whatever 10 divided by 130 is. So that would be, 8% or something like that. let's look at that real quick. Look at it real quick. I realize this video sucks, but bear with me here. So if you want to look out till June, they say sell in May and stay away. I went back over the last 10 years, and at least in TQQQ, that hasn't been, you have 2 down years out of 8. So that really hasn't been the case. So you'd be at 9%. So you can make 9% if you don't think that this is going to go down by June. So you make 9% here. If you went all the way down to September, so people that are playing a little bit longer game, that are just looking for income, you might want to do this. The other thing that you might want to look at is, let's look at, and let's look at June. So we're going to bypass May because of the buying May or selling May and stay away, if that were to ring true. But as we said, so let's look kind of deep in the money. I don't know why these say, wow, there's no 100. That's weird. So your 101 is at 515. So if you go down $10 and you go out to June, if you were doing this for income, purely for income, so, $5.10 divided by, what did I say, 101. 101. So you're going to get 5% to buy at $10 less than it's trading at now in June. So essentially a little bit over a month away. So I don't know about you, but that's your risk reward. That's spectacular. So I really like, being able to scale these things. So if you want to make 5% a little over a month, then you can calculate the days up exactly. But 5% over a month, then that's 60% a year, and that's buying, essentially being forced to buy it, $10 out of the money. And so that's another strategy to use. So $10 out of the money, and you got $4 for it. So basically you're looking at your downside, you're protected, $15 out of the money. So for people that are not really getting these good rewards, good yields, might be something to look into. You can't be skittish though. This thing's been going up like a rocket over the last 10 years. You can't be skittish that if we because 2 or 3 times a year we have a nice dip in the NASDAQ and the Dow, right? I mean, it just happens. So it may be a nice dip after it roars ahead and then it just pulls back, but that's not normal markets. So if we were to look at the summary of this guy, let's look at a full screen here. So I'm going to look at full screen on TQQQ, and it's going to pull up. So here's the NASDAQ. So you really should get used to using the Yahoo charts. I mean, they're pretty good, and everybody can access them. That's why I like to use them. That way, you might say, "Oh, well, I got a better, Schwab has a really good deal or whatever like that," and I like the charts there, and that's fine. But the red line here is TQQQ. This is a 5-year chart, so it's up 14x. So 1289. So that'd be 13, and then you add 1. So 14x. And the NASDAQ itself's up, 3x. So it's up, 194% up. So that's 3x, right? So this is, moved, quite a bit faster. But if you look at this, like you take $100,000, and in 5 years, if you put $100,000 in this, you'd have $1 million. Now I know you might get comments. People say, well, $1 million is not what it used to be. Whatever. Those are people that don't have $1 million. Get out of here. I mean, there's a lot of people that are in IT or high paid whatever. You and your wife, you can come up with $100,000, put in the maximum, for like 4 years in your 401k. Leave a job, roll it over to an IRA. Pick up TQQQ, hold it for 5 years. Now let's say you're wrong. Let's say you're wrong, and that you're bad timing. Whatever. So let's say you're wrong. Let's look out. This is a little bit more than 10 years, but so let's look out at 2011 to 2021. Now I realize this is a spectacular period. Don't get me wrong. It's up in 10 years. It's up 59x. 59x in 10 years. So that means if you put $20,000 in, you'd be a millionaire in 10 years. So, will this do it again? The people that want to be naysayers, they're going to say, well, it's not going to do it again. Okay, well, it did it in 5 years. It did it in 10 years. Look at the 2-year chart. 2-year chart, 3x. The 1-year chart, 3x. Year to date, up 20%, which is really, really good. That selling the puts, we've done better than that. So this is up, 19.5%, and I'm up 35% selling the puts. So this is a situation to where selling the puts and then rolling them and keeping them close, I've actually made more than if I would have held TQQQ. But that's not always the case, especially when it's really running. Because what will happen on this thing, Apple will come out with great earnings, Microsoft come out with great earnings. This thing will soar and it won't look back. And so, you'll sell the puts, you'll make some money, you'll lower your risk a little bit, but you won't make the 20% or whatever. In this case, I've done better than that. So I'm at the end of this week, I'll be at about 35% for the year. So I've outdone this by selling these puts. So that's really spectacular to do better than the common over time because it has done so well. If you look at a year, I'm not getting return. I haven't gotten returns like this. If we look over 2 years, I did 62% in 2020, but in 2019, I did 140%. So we're up almost 35% today. Anyway, I'm not sure why there's so many naysayers when I've posted this in a couple of retirement things and say pick up some TQQQ, and it's like, oh, is this very risky and stuff like that. I just don't see it in the charts, and maybe I'm missing something. And they can be naysayers out here, gold bugs, silver bugs, or whatever. But I'm just gonna have to say, hey, it's made me a millionaire, so I'm just gonna stay in it. But looks like we're gonna be up today. I'm gonna guess that we're gonna hit all-time highs. We're gonna break this 112. I don't think we're necessarily gonna close there, but I think we'll be over 111 today. So enjoy. I mean, it's really, I'm giddy that we're at the 100. That we're at that $1 million mark. We should be at 1,018,000. So just chump change, another $18,000. So these numbers start getting really big when you start getting large amounts of money. And if you think about it, in retirement, if you have $1 million there, and you play these calls. I know we've got additional income, so we're not looking this for monthly income. But if you're looking for a splurge, you want to go buy a bass boat, you would never do it because you just don't have the money. But and you're just a cheap bastard like I am. But maybe if you're at your pinnacle, like we don't have any kids, so I think $1 million having additional rental income for a monthly nut, then I've told the wife anything over $1 million we can spend. So you got $1 million. We sold 7,200 contracts, just where they are now for the next 2 days. So let's say you bought them yesterday and they closed at 241. That's what it said in Fidelity account. So 241 times 7,200, we're still looking at. I'm still holding this because there's 17,352 in premium. So I realize that, we're playing, almost $700,000 in an IRA, another $100,000 in cash account. So we're playing $800,000 to get the 72, or not quite $800,000, because round lots and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of common in there. Sometimes we buy. We were trying to get the 106, the common down to 106, and we had a buy-in at 106. It never went to 106. It went down under 108 yesterday. So maybe we're a little bit greedy there. If we'd have got it at 108, probably going to go to 112 today. We'd made 4 points, so that wasn't a very good swing trade. We're still looking at my wife's account. I don't have her set up for options, so she's got about $26,000 in the cash account that she took out a 401k loan with. She bought a house with. So anyway, going forward, we're looking at anything over the $1 million mark being able to spend, because we have additional income to cover our nut. And this will be, I hate to say it sounds conceited, but I really look at this as being more of our strategic and, let's say play money. I mean, I don't know why we need more than $1 million. I mean, I hear people say, "Oh, I need $2 million or $3 million to retire," but I don't get it. I mean, I don't know. We never spent that much in our earning lives. We're not looking to do a huge lifestyle creep. So I think selling puts for income, even deeper in the money when I'm in full retirement, then I'd like to run this up. Don't get me wrong. So we're going to try to do it without my wife's. If we're at $18,000 over $1 million here, then I think we added 108 in for her. So if we're 18,000 over, then we only need to make another $90,000 to do it without her 401k to hit the $1 million mark. So that's the next thing. Now, if you look at what we did here, in 2 weeks we sold the put for 2 weeks for 520, and then I think we sold it for 180, and then we rolled it and got 285. So we got 465 total. And so the one that 520 that we did for two weeks, we actually made more money in. So let's say 480, something around 480. Like if you 480 or 490 if you average them out or whatever. So for let's just say $5. So $5 times 7,200. That's $35,000 in 2 weeks. So $35,000 in 2 weeks. So that means in 6 weeks, if we did the same thing, we could be, potentially pick up the other $100,000. Now we might not do that. We might play it more cautiously, depending on how we think the market's going to act. Once earnings come out, it might drift lower. The market might drift lower. I think that might be a natural thing, but it might not. So we'll have to see how this goes. Anyway, it's pretty exciting. It looks like the 109s are going to be fun. Looks like we'll roll right into and have $18,000 over $1 million. And so pretty exciting times. We need to think about, what we can do to spend this money, and that's very exciting.